Okay, how are you doing? I'd like to show you some really neat items that will help improve your photography if you have an XT10 or XT1 or even a rangefinder Fuji. Now, by improve your photography, I don't mean it's going to make you a better photographer, but you can be the best craftsman in the world with junky tools, obviously, and you cannot extend the capacity of what you're able to do. So, obviously, you need the skills, but you also need to have the right tools. So, this isn't about gas or gear acquisition syndrome. It's about making things easier so you can concentrate on the composition and your photography, obviously so. Someone can have great compositional skills, but if they're constantly struggling with inferior tools or something that is lacking, and then that creates an issue. So let's take a look at some what I would call necessities, and you may not think they're necessities until I bring them up, and you'll probably have an aha moment. Not on everything that I mention here, but I guarantee you, you will have an aha moment in this video. It's like, oh, I didn't think about that. That sounds really good. I bet that will be useful, and it'll keep me from fumbling around with this or that, or keep me from searching in my bag, something to that effect. So in no particular order, what a lot of people concentrate on perpetually is lenses. There's not a single professional photographer on earth that won't tell you flat out, look at kid, it's great to concentrate on great lenses, but unless you've got good lighting or lighting period, then you really don't have jack. And that is undeniable, it's irrefutable. So what I recommend, now I've owned every Nikon Speedlight made for the past 30-some years. I do recommend the Nikon SP28. The actual size, the cost, I know there's certainly other options. SB800, certainly a lot more expensive. Cheapest one of those is typically about $180. You can often find SB28 for about $50, $40, sometimes as low as $30, but typically $50. And while you cannot use this on top of your Fuji, well, you can. I mean, it's going to trigger the flash, but you're not going to be able to use it in TTL mode. You're going to be able to use it in manual, but more importantly, you're going to be able to use it in auto mode. There's a little sensor up here that will cut it off if you set the ISO correctly. And 9 times out of 10, actually, it's as good as TTL flash photography. Modern day shooters don't take that into consideration. They think everything needs to be high-speed sync, or everything needs to be TTL. Well, here's an idea. Here's your high-speed sync in a low light situation. The speed of your shot, so far as capturing it, is going to be the speed of light. That's in low light, obviously. Now, something else you did not consider, it's a trick I've been using for a very long time. I don't know why I don't see other people doing it, because it is incredibly useful. Now, they call this stuff accessory cord. Okay, accessory cord. It's stiffer and it's very, very durable. Okay, and what I do is I actually hang this off my shoulder like a shoulder strap, and I'll actually pop a wireless trigger, boom, right there, and then use a sync cable, 1/4" PC sync cable on my Speedlight. Okay, and I'll pop it in there, and 1/4" goes in there. This runs off 2 AA batteries, and this lets me actually keep this on my side and bring it up, raise it up, and use it to get off-camera flash. Very, very simple. When I'm easy, I let it go. I don't have to drop it in my pocket. I don't have to drop it back in my damn camera bag. It is there constantly, not flopping around everywhere. There on my hip, my left hip, just like my camera is on my right side. So incredibly, incredibly useful. Think about cutting yourself a piece of one of these, about $1. Okay. Obviously, the second item I mentioned would be a pair of. There's a second one right over there. A pocket wizard if you want to use a Yongnuo. I don't particularly like them because they don't have the range and they don't have the reliability. I get constant, not arguments about this, but people want to say, oh, I got a Yongnuo and it works just fine and it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, okay. Well, you can roll the dice, on that old Yugo wireless trigger, or you could drive a Toyota for a little bit more money. It's all about saving money. I'm not about blowing money, but professionals use pocket wizards for a reason. They got extreme range and they're extremely reliable. They use a pair of AA batteries, but that's a debate for something else. So now we definitely need, at the very minimum, depends on the trip you're going to, how much light you need to have a Speedlight. I mean, you think you're going to cut it with a bunch of lenses in your Fuji, you're just not. If you don't bring the light, then you're nothing but a slave to Mother Nature and indoor lighting. I mean, you're under the foot of all ambient lighting. Best lens, Fuji lens, in your XT1 or your XT10, it's not going to cut it. You got to bring the light, okay? Any professional photographer will tell you flat out, and it's irrefutable, that the lighting is important as the lens, and often more so. I could do a lot more with a crummy speedlight and a crummy lens, not that there are any here, than I can with a really, really good lens and no speedlight. And that is something I try so hard to get through people's heads, and is so important and so undeniable. So the next thing I'll mention, like I said in no particular order, is one of these little mini tripod jobbies, one of these little Jobos. Now it has a cold shoe adapter here, it lets me pop on my speedlight. What that means is I can pop on my speedlight with my wireless trigger. I can plant these like Easter eggs, especially if I got more than one speedlight, and I could use these for scenery photography. I'll stick it over there in a bush and I'll light the tree here. I can stick it at the base of someone's feet and then come back 100 feet and then trigger the flash, and it's like, wow, my God, I've never seen photography like that. And just a little bitty tripod. You can plant your light wherever you want. You can plant your light like Easter eggs. These don't weigh a thing really. What you do is you just screw on a little cold shoe adapter here. It's a 1/4 inch to cold shoe, 1/4 inch being a tripod. Okay, 1/4 inch female to a cold shoe. Your speedlight goes right there, and put on a wireless flash trigger. Incredibly useful. Incredibly useful. Now, one thing with any mirrorless system, it doesn't matter who makes it, and I'll show you how to make one of these in the next video. I call this a battery bar, and inside of this I've got, for daily packing, 4 batteries. Nice and easy. It's an undeniable fact that batteries knocking together actually drops out their charge, and people constantly toss their batteries in a bag, they're fumbling for in their pocket, they lose one. You build, check out the next video, I'll show you how to build a battery bar like this and how useful it is. You can build it for free. Everybody should have a battery bar. Good for Nikon, good for Fuji. Wireless trigger. Now, why is this cheap trigger, which you can snag for like $8, I believe? It's a Velo. You can get it from B&H Photo or eBay. Why is it better than the Fuji brand? Well, Nikon, Canon, and Fuji, here's the secret, they all have their wireless triggers made in some little jinky factory in China. Okay? That's just the case. They do. So, number one, you shouldn't spend all that extra money for the official Nikon or the official Fuji trigger. But secondly, this Velo one works off this mini jack. And it doesn't have the fragile little connections like the Fuji one does, that connects in the micro USB ports. So for $8, this is a better trigger, a flash release, and it's less fragile in case you bump your camera, or this isn't going to break. I can't stand those little micro connectors. They break off and they're very fragile. It's easy to break that thin little PC board on the inside of the slot of a micro USB connector. So these are $8. Like I said, to use this for time exposures. Anyway, $8. Better than, I think it's called a RR something another. It's made by Fuji. It's $40. But they outsource it like Nikon and Canon does to China. Hand straps. Now, I prefer my own hand strap. Let me show you here. I've shown you in another video how to make one of these for basically $1. Incredibly reliable, very comfortable. But if you want to get one, it's great if you don't have a camera strap and you want to pack around your camera. You could basically almost let go of it, not drop your camera. This is the official Fuji hand strap. Okay. It's for use with just the Fuji only, or the Fuji with vertical battery grip. Obviously the XT10 doesn't have a vertical battery grip, but the XT10 with or without the vertical battery grip, that's the official Fuji one. The Velo one, which is almost as good for about $7, also a nice, now it's fake leather, but it's also a very comfortable hand strap for your Fuji. I love hand straps. All through photography school in the past 20 years, the hand straps, I love them. It saved me from dropping the camera many times. It's also taken the stress off of my fingers. You got to loosen the stress. If you're holding a camera for so many hours, you got to let go of it, but obviously don't let go of your camera. So you can let go of your camera and still have a touch on it to relieve the stress in your fingers. Let some blood flow back into your fingers. Another thing are straps. Now I showed you like in 6 different videos. I've finally invented the best camera strap that I've ever used, and it's my own little invention. If you want to know how to make one of these, refer back to those prior videos. So a nice camera strap, whether that's a conventional strap. I don't like conventional camera straps. I'll still use them in a couple things that I'm not packing around, but I've since switched all my camera straps out to my own little invention right here. Refer to the video or ask me for the link. I made like 6 videos on how to create these things. Incredibly useful, very comfortable. Obviously so, your lenses. Now these are my 8 favorite Fuji lenses. I've tested them all now. One being the 56mm, the other one being the 55-200. This was the last one that I grabbed and was going to be not a necessary grab, but I found them really cheap and I really liked it a lot, and I did grab the 18-135. The one that surpasses the 35mm f1.4 is this odd little shaped duck, except it is very fast, weather resistant, which really doesn't mean anything, but very fast autofocus acquisition, great color saturation, is the 35mm f2 Fuji lens. And the ubiquitous XT1 kit lens, which is actually really nice. Most people don't make good kit lenses. Canon doesn't. Nikon only makes one really good kit lens. This is the 18-55 Fujifilm. And the second, easily arguably, the most important secondary lens for anybody to have is the a wide zoom, and that's a 10-24 Fuji. Now you're asking, why do I have Nikon caps on most of these lenses? And that's because Fuji, like Zeiss, makes really crappy lens caps, and they fall off. And that's not really a big deal, except when you got them in your bag and they fall off and they're rubbing against something, and you whip it out and you see, you know, like some sort of smudge on the front of the lens. That's an issue, because that's going to affect your picture. So I want the lens caps to stay on. That's why I basically use Nikon lens caps on all my Fuji and all my Zeiss lenses, because love you Fuji, love you Zeiss, but the both of you make really shitty lens caps. Shitty. Like, extra shitty. They fall off way too easy. Always should have a couple of these in your camera bag, because if you ain't traveling with light, then you ain't traveling with jack, because every professional photographer will tell you amateurs are focused in on this here, and professionals are focused on this here. That means lenses, amateur realm. It's not amateur realm only. It's that amateurs are strictly focused on lenses. Lenses. Okay, it's great. You gotta have the light. So, a 1/4 inch to PC sync cable for your Nikon. Now, people that hate, why Nikon Speedlight? Why not a Yongnuo? Because they're crap. They're junk. This sucker's been rocking on strong for well over 2 decades. People that hate Nikon in general, their cameras and lenses, you know, whatever the reason they hate them for, I don't care. They will still use Nikon Speedlights. Reason for that is they are the toughest suckers out there by a mile. Everything breaks, obviously so, logically so. What they'll do is they'll blow a capacitor, but it's actually really rare. I mean, 25 years and also working in 2 camera stores, it has been incredibly rare for me to hear someone, my capacitor blew. And usually when that happens is someone left it in a hot attic, or they tortured the hell out of it and they just squeezed it right at the neck and then it blew a capacitor. But I've got Speedlights that I've been rocking since photography school 25 years ago. Still work fine, great stuff. Second most important thing, it's got to get your damn flash off your damn camera. And obviously we're talking about wireless triggers, which I've already mentioned, but the second best thing, but also equally important to have, because then you don't have to have wireless triggers, but obviously you can't get your flash that far, is a cheap one of these babies. An SC17, these are made back in the old days, and these are made in Japan, and boy baby, these are made good. These are made to last. These will last you and your grandparents. I mean, you and your granddaughter, outlast your granddaughter. This is a SC17 flash cable made in Japan. Stick this on the top of your Fuji, and the other one on your Speedlight. Also has a tripod mount right here, so incredibly useful. You can hook up multiple Speedlights here, and you branch off from here. SC17, typically those are 15 bucks used. Now, I am a total vertical grip slut. So this is subjective, but I loves me vertical grips, and I've got them on both my XT1s, so I think it is the best thing since sliced bread. And you always have to have one of these, the Fastenar by Black Rapid. It lets me attach my own sling creation. If you want to use Black Rapid, that's perfectly fine. Another awesome thing to have, and these take up no room and no weight, and obviously you can make your own. I'm all about a do-it-yourself sort of photographer, is one of these little soft boxes. These are $5. They're really well made. And this is a little octagonal one, isn't it? Yeah. And it's a little softbox for your Speedlight. Really awesome, very easy to attach. Attached with Velcro. Comes off and on really easy, doesn't take up any weight. Awesome. Now, chargers. Now, this is the one that comes with your Fuji, except it's got a difference. I got a stub plug on it. A stupid-ass long cord that Fuji ships these suckers with. Well, you can toss that crap in the trash. Get a stub plug. It's made by a guy I know in Hawaii. No, I get no kickbacks at all. Go to stubplug.com or just type in stub plug on Google. That way you can get rid of that damn cord, get rid of all that damn weight. This is the Fuji charger. No need for that big ass long cord. Another one equally as good, a lot lighter weight, and it has a fold out charger. These are like $6 or $8 via eBay. And you just type in XT1 charger and these little cheap suckers made in China. I've actually never had one of these fail on me. I've got ones for Nikons and everything else, and I've never had one fail on me. So these are the tits. Another thing that I consider really awesome to have, and your Fuji does not come with it, your XT1, and that is the XT1 long eye cup. Really, really comfortable. And I wear glasses, and if it's comfortable for me, then it's certainly comfortable with someone without glasses. The only downside is there's a lot of rubber sticking out there, and it does collect dust, but who gives a damn? Get over it. Get the hell over it. Since I have got a buttload of Nikon lenses, then this little sucker lets me use all those Nikon lenses, well, except for the G series. I've got a G series Metabones adapter right over there, which is $130. This is $100. This is chrome-plated brass. It's made in China. But unlike basically 99% of everything else made in China, which is crap, this is actually really, really awesome. There's no play. The precision machining on it is nothing less than what Zeiss. I mean, of course, Zeiss doesn't make Metabones adapters, but I mean, if Zeiss were to make it, I actually couldn't even see Zeiss. Actually, that's the normal F mount to Fuji X mount. This is the G mount to Metabones. This is one that's $130. That one's $100. If Zeiss were to make this, they actually couldn't have made it better. They really couldn't have. It's that well made. And so this lets me use a giant mountain of Nikkor lenses, including very, very cheap. If you want to get a lot of lenses on the cheap, you can get some non-AI Nikkors, which will also mount to this. This will accept all, the G mount will accept all Nikkor lenses, including the non-AIs. So that is awesome. Now, bags are incredible. Can't forget the Fuji XT1 up there. Love little Fuji XT1. It's my favorite little street camera. A little lightweight jobby to pack around. I'll actually pop a Metabones adapter on my Fuji XT10, and I'll mount a Zeiss 35mm on there, or like a Voigtlander 40, or typically the 27mm prime, which I think I forgot to mention that I was sitting on this XT1. So, last but not least, certainly something that is the most subjective thing that you'll never get an agreement on. This is a Bowery bag. Obviously, I can't stick all this crud in here. Obviously so. This is meant for a lens or two, a Speedlight, a few extra batteries, some nonsense for a day pack. This is called the Bowery. This is old-time construction. I'm a bit of a guy that loves old waxed canvas like this. The leather one is rather expensive. I think a new one of these is like $140, I believe. But this is the Bowery bag. It's completely made in the United States by ONA, O-N-A. And this is kind of like a man purse, You put this on your shoulder, you can go sashaying right down the street with your pretty little pink parasol. Anyway, it's a really good bag. Obviously, it doesn't hold much stuff. So, for me to recommend that is very subjective. When it comes to bags, it's very, very, very subjective. So, that's it. Once again, a quick rundown again. Our Speedlight, you gotta have your extra batteries. Check out the next video. I'll show you how to make a battery bar. A little miniature tripod. That way you can plant your Speedlights like Easter eggs all over the place. A hand strap. Check out my homebrew, which is the best camera sling I've ever used in the world, and it's my own design. Awesome. In another video, gotta have a nice hands camera strap. Your PC to 1/4 inch sync cable, SC17 cable. Pair of wireless triggers. When you go with the good ones or the cheap ones, make that your decision. Chargers, eye cup, Metabones adapter, and a bag. But definitely the light. Don't forget the light, man. All the lenses in the world don't mean a damn thing if you ain't got light. That's what people don't realize. Like, oh, I gotta get a new good light. No. Get another light. Get a speed light. Get some light. It's called photography for a reason, man. Your lenses don't create light. You gotta bring the light because Mother Nature, she is not too cooperative of an old gal. So you gotta bring it. Bring what? Bring the light. Go to the light, Carol Ann. Go to the light. Anyway, if you like this video, you can drop me a buck or two. Go tell me jump off a cliff. Another video for the Angry Tiger. Catch you later. Bye. Bye.